Okay. Good morning, everyone, and a very warm welcome to you this lovely morning. It is my pleasure to welcome you all here for another introduction to the TOC Python workshop. This is a 20-minute information session, and you will learn all about the TOC Python workshop, which we have scheduled a few weeks from now, and hoping to see you there. I'm going to answer all your questions. So this is your opportunity to ask as many questions as you can as we sign up to have this workshop on the 11th. The date is actually the 11th. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the workshop, why we call it TOC, what's different about this workshop, why you should be part of this workshop. So just as we begin, I want to show you that in our last workshop, which was a very successful workshop, we had a number of people who attended, and there's a lot more you can find on YouTube. So if you go to our channel, Side 2 Pro on YouTube, then you can find out everything about that particular workshop. You'll get hear testimonials, you'll hear insights from participants, and we'd love to see you at that workshop. My name is Paul, and I'm the one who's convened these workshops. I am trained as an electrical engineer from University of Nairobi, so I have local pedigree. And then I was fortunate to be accepted at the African Institute for Mathematical Sciences. And then I went to the Republic of Ireland to do a doctorate in computational biology. So I do have deep experience in working with Python, not just studying with Python and being taught about Python, but also putting it into application in various fields. I've worked in telecoms, I've worked in multiple companies in telecoms, and I worked for, and this is probably the longest experience I had, was in Cambridge at a bioinformatics institute called the European Bioinformatics Institute, which is in the United Kingdom. And then I currently work as a director of data science at a nonprofit called data.org. So let's sort of have a backdrop of why this matters, why we care about this. It's because Africa is rich with people, and all these people need to have skills and experience. And we have the biggest young population in the world. But where will these all young people work? We need them to have skills. And the reason why we organize these conferences, these workshops, is so that you can have the skills to lead the next generation. You really want to be so good that they can't ignore you. You want to stand out. Because if you do not do that, then that future generation are going to take away your jobs and take away your opportunities to contribute to the economy. So the big picture is that we really want to see Africa develop in terms of its skills and its expertise. And we're inviting you for these workshops so that you can start your journey into these skill sets and develop these abilities. But you may be asking, why Python? Why should we bother with Python? Why not use any other tool? Well, the truth of the matter is you really can't go wrong with Python. We are really in a golden age of Python programming, and it's a great opportunity for you to get in. If you want to have a career in the next year or two where you've got strong foundational skills, then this really is the direction you should be moving in. Python is wonderful because it's very powerful, but at the same time, it's very simple. It's very simple syntax, very easy to understand, and it's easy to learn syntax. And having said that, doesn't mean that Python is a useless language just because it's simple. It's very powerful and it's used in a large number of areas. For example, some of the most fundamental libraries like NumPy, which have a lot of routines for working with multidimensional data, are part and parcel of the Python ecosystem. And then on top of that, there are many other libraries that have been developed like SciPy, Pandas, scikit-learn, Matplotlib, Flask, and Django, which have web development. There is PyTorch for deep learning, TensorFlow as well, PySpark for large data, NLTK for working with, it's a language toolkit, SBERT for working with sentence transformers, which is state of the art when it comes to working with language, Pillow for images, OpenCV again for image analysis, image and manipulation. And there's Llama and LangChain, which are used for large language models. And then one of the new exciting kids on the block is Mojo. And Mojo is a Python superset. It borrows a lot from Python, but it also extends Python in new ways, allowing you to work with GPUs and high performance computational analysis very natively. So it's a really powerful language, but all inspired from Python. So it's a great thing for you to learn and great thing for you to develop. But what will be different about this workshop compared to most coding classes? Where do most coding classes fail? Well, the truth of the matter is a lot of coding classes. You'll see this on YouTube. They have an all-in-one package and they're really intense and they cram so much material, expect you to memorize and learn so much. And they're very intense within a very short period of time. And that's really difficult. A lot of these training programs, you just pay attention to them. They don't have a framework. They teach you about the language as an end in itself, but they don't really teach you about programming. They don't really teach you how to approach a language and make the most of it. And that's one of the things we try to do in our approach. There's a lot of memorization as opposed to helping you to think. Programming is a thinking exercise. If you have never invested time in thinking, you will find programming difficult in the beginning. But it's even worse if you never leave orbit and are never taught how to think. In a lot of these exercise classes, the exercises that are provided and the challenges are either too easy or too difficult. They aren't graduated for your learning level. And one of the things we really emphasize is the correct setup with your IDE. We emphasize the gold standard for working with Python, and that's called PyCharm. And then unfortunately, a lot of these training programs, they lead to isolation. You are learning on your own. You don't have support. And in reality, we learn best when we are together. So what is TOC? TOC is very simple. It's types, operations, and constructs. These are the three elements of any language. The types are the ways in which we represent things in the world. Operations are how we interact with the types or how the types interact with one another. And then the constructs are the linguistic features that come with any language, which allow things like branching or looping or context or creating your own classes. And these are a number of illustrations. This is simple illustrations on, for example, in Python, you could define variables, which are numerical variables, but then there are then operations associated with those variables. So in this case here, we have the arithmetic operators, which effect these arithmetic operations. Strings are one of the richest native types that are provided in Python. And again, they have their own set of operations. For example, here we have a concatenation using something called an F string. Lists are fundamental container types, and there are operations such as the extend method, which allow you to extend one list with another. Another container that we look at is dictionaries. And here we have, you can create a dictionary and then you can update a dictionary with another dictionary. You can delete objects from within a dictionary. You can get the length of a dictionary. So it's a very simple type, simple examples. Something that's a slightly more advanced or nuanced is using the class construct to define your own types, borrowing from other types. And here we're using the def construct to specify our own operations on this type or this class. And a very exotic example here is one from C. Here we have types in red. So you have unsigned characters, integers, and you have pointers, which are from NumPy, integer pointer. Here's some objects, pi object, pi incref, which is actually an operation, like the mem new static cast, pi array simple new from data. And these are all provided as part of the language. In C, we have a construct called while that is written this way. It's quite straightforward, very similar to what a lot of languages have. So these are just a flavor of some of the ways in which TOC can be put into application. But the course that we'll be going through is object-oriented programming. So this is what we'll be going through using the TOC lens. So if you've never understood object-oriented programming, we're going to cover an introduction, and we'll take you through a very simple graduated approach on how we think about object-oriented programming. Then we're going to look at inheritance and how to take advantage of this very powerful OOP feature. And then finally, we look at polymorphism, which is slightly counterintuitive, not very straightforward, but it is a wonderful way in which you can strengthen your code by having operations that are they depend on where they're being applied. So about the workshop, it's live in person, it's not virtual. We want you to be a part of an amazing and supportive community. There's going to be excellent ambience throughout the day. We provide tutorial support from beginning till the end of the day. We really like to emphasize good coding habits for you to develop and stick to. And it's a chance for you to make new friends. So for you to come over, it's going to be on Saturday, the 11th October from 8:30 to 5. It's a full day. It's quite an intensive day, but you leave that day with a really good foundation. We have 10 places. It's going to be held at Kileleshwa Covenant Community Church. They have some classes set aside where we can run these classes. And we have a 50% discount until the 26th. So if you book early, 12,500 shillings, and after that it goes to 20, and on the last week it's going to be 25. It literally double. So if you want to book, the form is the QR code link there. Please click on that. I also want to announce a few other things that may be of interest to you. If you're really not interested in something like the workshop, that's fine. If you want to learn on your own, one thing that we do run is the Breaking the Setup Barrier event. This is a 2-hour live session for you to come and get help setting up computer, installing all the right software, configuring it correctly, running a few test runs, and just being comfortable, making sure you have the right setup. Now, this is something that really causes a stumbling block for a lot of people. So if you want to figure out how to install the right software, make sure everything is working correctly with Git and GitHub, then this is for you. Join us on Monday the 29th from 8 to 10 p.m., where we'll be going through this 2-hour session. Um, and then if you want to learn the basics of Python, we have a 2-hour per day for 3 days, spread over 3 weeks, Code Quick Wins. It's based on the book that I've put together, which is a simple introduction to Python. Sign up, and if you're interested, and then we're going to announce the actual date. So if you're interested in learning the basics, just the basics with types, operations, and constructs, with a few containers, a few constructs, and you will have the basics needed to get you moving. This class is for you. So please sign up and let me know, and I'm going to announce when the next class is going to be. So thank you very much. If you have any questions, now is a great time to ask. Hey, Kevin, you have any questions? Hello, Kevin. Okay, if we have no questions, then I'd say thank you very much for showing up. I will send out just a reminder to everyone who signed up for this session, because I know some people couldn't make it. And then I will let you know how to sign up for the course if you're interested, or for the workshop if you're interested. Have a lovely day. Bye.